When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes, is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at Jewel International, Gordon D Melville.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Long Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville. Welcome to Red Fridays. Remember, everyone deployed. We want to make sure that we remember that. Today, we're going to talk about betraying trust when personal relationship and job commitments collide. And full disclosure today, I'm here. The red I've got on is partly on my screen with some of my script on screen. My rose-colored glasses, and I've got them because I've got some real serious pain happening, and I'm trying to dull that a little bit. So again, wanting and preaching about vulnerability and transparency. I want you to know, hey, this is the deal. And you know what? It's about showing up. Are there times we can't? Yes. But you know what? We make commitment. We live up to the commitment. We make sure that we, as much as we can, within our power, we show up, because we don't know what's going on the other side of that. And what I mean by that is, I have a colleague that, and he's become a really, really good friend, that I say, and you've all heard me say, make it another great day instead of have a nice day. And he's a vice principal, and he put out on his front sign at the front of the school on Tuesday morning, make it a great day, and was thinking about me when he put it out there. Had this really wonderful concept that he had put out for the day. And part of the way through the day, his principal came to him and interrupted one of his classes and said, hey, you need to go to Hamilton General. Your wife's been airlifted. She's had a couple of aneurysms and is in a induced coma. And you know what? We don't realize how special our lives are. We don't realize how showing up for people and showing up for ourselves is going to play out in our lives and play out in people around us in their lives. And so if you can say some prayers for her. She seemed to be doing better today than she has been. They took the tube out, so the breathing tube out, so that's good. But that's going to be a process. And so, you know what, we talk about not being promised tomorrow. We're not promised this afternoon, later today even. And so living in the moment becomes such a big piece. And you know what, talking about what we're talking about today in terms of betraying trust, when our personal relationship and our job commitments collide, it goes right to the heart. What we're talking about goes right to the heart of that. Because where we spend our time, what's the most important side? It doesn't mean we don't have to go to work, but what's the most important side of that equation? And so, excuse me, I want you to know, welcome. If you happen to be here live, thank you so much. You can pick us up, and we're very happy for you to find us on Apple TV, Google TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you watch. But if you want to watch live and you want to see, you can either go to Inspired Choices Network and go that's a free download on the app in your app store. From there, you get into the chat if you go in that way. And jump into the chat. My producers will give you a link to get into my live studio audience if you want to come in there. If you want to just watch, then you can go to inspiredchoicesnetwork.tv, and you can watch not just this episode, but all my episodes and all of the host episodes. Or you can we're streaming live, which is very exciting, on and also Inspired Choices Network, inspiredchoicesnetwork.tv, Facebook, and YouTube. We're streaming live, so very excited about that. You've got about 30 seconds to grab your journal for notes, because you're going to want to write some of this stuff down. I deeply appreciate you being here, and I know there's people that catch me on the replay. I appreciate that. Please let me know you're here, where you're listening from, and I want you to know I'm on a mission to positively change the lives of as many men as I can. 10 million was the goal. At least that's my jump off point when we start to count. But I want to do that by increasing their emotional quotient, because, and again, it goes to what we're talking about today. Raising our emotional quotient increases and betters our lives, because our relationships get better, everything gets better. I'm founder and CEO of Jewel International. I'm a champion mindset mentor, so that you just so you know who you're listening to. I'm a multi-award-winning international best-selling author multiple times, and I'm an international speaker. I came from was in Atlanta a few weekends ago, end of September, I guess it's more than a few weekends ago, and was a guest judge in Niagara Falls just before that. Like I said, I'm a champion mindset and energy coach for a pro basketball team, and I teach the 7 levels of emotional intelligence for men. I serve entrepreneurial men and pro athletes, and I'm doing a Box Inside Out program right now for women upon request, because it was requested that I do a woman's version of it, and so I'm doing that. So, you know what? I'm so honored to be here. I'm honored you're here, and I'm so thankful that you're with me today. Thank you so much for spending some of your limited resource called time with me today. I appreciate that very much. All right. So, by the way, if you can like, love, share, subscribe, that helps our algorithms and it helps pay for the show. But I would really, really appreciate it if you could do that. Like it, love it, share it. Because again, if it connects or you resonate with this information, being able to share it outside of colds and health stuff, a lot of times sharing is caring, right? Being able to share, being able to expand. I can't get to 10 million plus if we don't share it. If we don't expand the engagement, that's what I'm looking for. So, you know what? Please share it, like it, love it, and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to do that. All right. So let's get going here. Betraying trust when personal relationships and job commitments collide. I want to read just real quick what I wrote for the ad copy. It says, in today's fast-paced world, we often find ourselves at the intersection of personal relationships and job commitments. Is there really such a thing as work-life balance, which will allow us to maintain a harmonious teeter-totter between our chosen work and our personal life? Or does one inevitably betray the other? When we choose to unravel these unavoidable conflicts that arise, when these two crucial aspects of our life collide, we begin to have insights that highlight the challenges individuals face when juggling their career ambitions and personal bonds at home. More often than not, we are unwittingly, inadvertently choosing to be unfaithful by betraying our personal relationships we say we're committed to, blinded by the allure of the mistress we refer to as work. So in this episode today, it's a thought-provoking. I want to rattle your chain a little bit. You've heard me say that a bunch. I'm not here to polish your trophies. I will pat you on the back and lift you up, but I'm not here to do that primarily. What I'm primarily here to do is rattle your chain and shake your cage and try and help you. If you want to move forward, if you want to be, you want to get past the status quo, then you need to do something different, because we use our best thinking to get to where we are. Everybody I ask, hey, did you use your best thinking to get to where you are? They're like, yes, absolutely. Great. Are you where you want to be? Well, no. Well, then you need to do something different. You need to change it. So this will be a thought-provoking episode. And what we're going to do is delve into the intricate balance between personal relationship and personal and work commitments. We'll share, I will share a real life story that you'll discover practical strategies and some expert insight into assisting you in navigating the complex landscape. So we want to talk about that. So that's the very first part, right? Cheating on our relationships at home with our job. When I say, hey guys, stop cheating, I usually get a visceral reaction to that, because men, especially if they've been fiercely protective of that relationship and that they don't step out ever, they have a visceral reaction when I say stop cheating. I've never stopped. I've never cheated. But I believe we do, because we get validated at home. We get validated at work. We get told how good we're doing at work. We get patted on the back. We get good pay. We know we're good at what we do at work. So we feel validated and secure there. But then we go home and 50% of relationships end in divorce. So maybe I suck as a husband. Maybe I'm not putting it in the way I need to be. I'm bringing home the bacon and I'm doing the things I think I'm supposed to do. But maybe, it's not always about just bringing home the bacon. We try and have conversations with a significant other, and that doesn't work for some reason, or they don't listen, or they are expecting us to do something other than what we thought we were supposed to be doing. and it causes friction or it causes hassle. And our kids look at us and go, hey, you're not the boss of me, and I hate you, because they're going through that phase. If you got teenagers, you know. But you know what? A lot of times what's happening then, we look at it and go, well, I'm not being validated at home at all, so I'm going to spend my time at work. And it causes relationships. It causes rifts in our relationships at home. And nobody, and I said this last week, but nobody gets their deathbed and goes, you know what? I should have spent some more time at work. Nobody does that. What do? I should have spent some more time at home. I should have spent more time with my kids, or with my wife, or with my family, or with what I should have spent more time at home. The challenge is this. We look at it and go, especially for us entrepreneurs, we look at it and go, I had to spend 60, 80, 100 hours a week. I'm the only person to get it done. I had to do it. But again, I think we're hiding. I think we're putting a space, because if we really, really, really want to make it work, we'll find or we'll manufacture the time to get it done. People that, and clients that I talk to that go, and friends and other people that go, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time. I go, you know what? With all due respect, what I just heard was I don't want to. Because the things we really want to do, we make the time to get them done. If we're honest with ourselves, we make the time to get it done. Matter of fact, it doesn't matter whether it's good for us or bad for us. People that smoke, not good for you. But they find the time. They make the time. Why? Because they have to do it. If someone said to them, well, you can't do that today. Well, no. You don't have time to do that today. Well, I'll make the time. I'll find the time. Right? Even if it's going to hurt them, they find the time. Why? Because it's a priority. So some of this comes back to where our priorities lie. Is your priority the almighty dollar? Is your priority trying to make sure that you get as fast, as much as you can? Or is your priority, because a lot of us will say our home is our priority, but our action doesn't reflect that. Our actions don't reflect that our priority is home. That may sound harsh. That may sound unrelenting, but it's the truth. And whether we like it or not, whether we want to hear it or acknowledge it even, is up to us. But it doesn't change what is. It doesn't change the reality of what's going on. Because if we're really, really, truly honest with ourselves, and that's the only way you're going to figure it out. Nobody else can say to you, well, you know what, I think you spend too much time at work, or not enough time at home. Nobody else can do that. You're the only one that can do that. That's on you. You have to take that ownership. Nobody else can do that for you. You have to do it for you. So I'm challenging you. Make that choice. However you want it to be. You want to spend more time at work? Great, spend more time at work. But don't bitch and whine and complain and lament that your relationships at home suck. We have this society where we want the result, but we don't want to do the work it takes to get there. That's not how life works. Kobe didn't get to be as good as he was. LeBron he didn't get to be as good as he is by thinking, you know what, I just want to be good. That's not how it works. They have to put in the work and continue to put in the work to continue to grow and to continue to expand and to continue to move forward. They have to put the work in. We have to put the work in. If we want to move forward, you got to do the damn work. Not sexy, but it's the reality of it. It's not what we're doing in front of everybody. It's not what LeBron or any of these Tiger was, any of the people that we could name, we all know. It's not what they're doing in front of the cameras. That's not where it's at. Where it's at is the thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of practicing and honing their craft away from the cameras and away from the accolade and away from anybody even seeing it, holding themselves accountable to do what they know they're supposed to do, to get the result they're supposed to do, even when no one's going to know. Can you do that? called being mature, being adult. It's having character. Anyway, I need to take a break. I want to do a quick shout out. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy. This is Jose Escobar, is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The Connected Leaders Academy tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up your virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. Highly, strongly recommend that if you're an entrepreneur with a history of success and you have an ego that'll fit into a room, then you might qualify to be in the group. And it's an incredible group. Unbelievable. So reach out to Jose, and as we go into the break here, don't forget to pause and breathe. Why? Because it's grounding you. It allows everything we're talking about to sink in. Think about what we're talking about. Think about your relationships at home and work. Think about, are you stepping out? Are you being unfaithful to your relationships at home with your job? Could you spend more time at home? Do you want to spend more time at home? In the next segment, we're going to talk about work-life balance. How does that work? Does that work? We're going to talk about that in the next segment. So don't go anywhere. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. Be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. And today we're talking about betraying trust when our personal relationships and our job commitments collide, because they do. We've talked about what that means, cheating on our relationships at home with our work. We want to talk a little bit in this segment about work-life balance. Is there such a thing? Because I think it's a misnomer. Work-life balance is a misnomer. What do I mean? There's no such thing. It's BS, and chasing it is a fool's errand, because you're never ever going to get there. How come? Well, most of us spend about a third of our life sleeping. That leaves 2/3 of our life. Well, of those 2/3, how much of that are you spending at home versus at work? If you're like most people, you're going to spend way over half. You're going to spend more than a third. I mean, in a perfect world, you'd spend a third sleeping, a third at work, and a third at home. But that's not what happens. You're probably spending 3/4 of a third sleeping and 3/4 of the rest of the time at work. There is no balance. And I used to believe, your work was supposed to facilitate your life. It wasn't supposed to be your life. But one of my mentors said to me, well, but if you're spending most of your waking time, how much time do you spend at home compared to spend at work? Most of us spend way more time at work than we do at home. That is our life. It's not that it facilitates it. It is our life. Matter of fact, to the point where we get our identity from it. Why? Because we identify it. That's where we spend our time. I'm a car guy. I'm an insurance guy. I'm a coach. I'm a speaker. I'm an author. No, you're not. That's what you do. That's not who you are. But we spend so much of our day and time doing and executing. And I'm not saying shouldn't be executing, because we absolutely need to do, right? And you've heard me talk about that at length before. But what I'm saying is, most of our waking time is at work. The challenge comes when we believe, hey, you know what? Because we do this, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I raise my hand. I do this fairly frequently. At least I used to do it frequently. I try not to do it so much anymore, but I think a lot of us have either are doing it or have done it, where when we're at work, we lament that we're not at home. And when we're at home, we lament that we're not at work. We feel guilty we're not at work, or we feel guilty we're not at home when we're at work. And so what the problem is, it's not with work-life balance. It's worth having boundaries. Do you have boundaries for your work and your home? Which one's the priority? Because if your priority is work, then that's fine. If that's what you're choosing, because it's a choice. Don't tell me, hey, I had to do it. I have bills. I had to. Well, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Be honest with yourself. Call a spade a freaking shovel. It is what it is. If you're choosing work instead of home, own that, and then don't bitch and whine and complain because your relationships fall apart, or your marriage falls apart, or you can't hold on to a relationship. Your kids don't know who you are. They alienate, don't bitch and whine about that if you're not going to put the time and the energy into it. You can't have your cake and eat it too. That's not how it works. On your birthday, you have your cake and you eat it too, and you want to do that and you need to do that. But in this kind of a realm, you need to have a boundary. Don't whine when you don't have what you wanted to have, when you didn't do the work. How many of you, if you understand what blocking is, blocking your week? I have people tell me, Gord, I don't have time to get my self-care, and I don't have time to spend on me with my friends or my family or my kids or whatever. And I'm like, explain what you do with your week. How do you set up your week? Well, I have all the time. I get to work. I book my week, and I have my stuff for work, and then I try and squeeze everything else in. And I'm like, why are you doing that? What you're doing is telling me that the priority is work. And if what your job is right now is not giving you the time and surrounding yourself with, number one, with people that are celebrating you, moving up and getting better, cheerleaders for you, if that's not who they are, if it's not moving you forward as a human being, what are you doing? I'm not saying quit before you have another job. That's irresponsible. You have bills to pay. What I am saying is find something that lights you up. Find something where the culture is a positive one that encourages you, that helps you move forward. It helps your life move forward. It doesn't hold you back. But when I'm saying blocking your week, on Sunday night, sit down and block out the times you want for you and for your family. I know I got to go to school for parent teachers on this night. I've got to go to, my kids have a concert here. I've got to get the kids to cello practice here, or hockey or football or whatever. I've got date night on this night. You take the time you want for you first. And the rest of the time, slot that out between your employer or your clients. Take the best time for you. Book in your self-care. Block in the time for your self-care. You have to look after you first. And it's not selfish. It's not look after yourself first instead of looking after anybody else or living up to your responsibilities. It's looking after yourself first so that you can live up to your responsibilities. I'm a walking, talking billboard for what happens when you don't do that. When more than 3 decades of time, everybody came before me and I just ignored my body. I ignored the signs that were there. I ignored, and full disclosure, I've got Crohn's, I've got ulcerative colitis, I've got diabetes, I've got undiagnosed head pain. There's so many things. I was ignoring what my body was telling me. It was screaming at me. And I was ignoring it. Why? Because my priority was work. I was saying with my mouth, home and family is a priority. And I was working, and I think a lot of us do that in the sense that I want to provide for my family. I want my kids to have the stuff they need. I want my wife to have the things that she's supposed to have or that I want her to have. I'm trying to do a good thing, but in trying to do that good thing, I'm completely screwing up the things that really, really are important and matter in my life. Figuring out for yourself what the boundaries are. What's your priority? And I'm like I said, it doesn't change what, if work is your priority and that's what you want, the almighty dollar is what's important to you, then great. Go after that. If that's what it is, go after that. Just don't bitch about your relationships. Don't bitch about the rest of your life falling in the toilet. And would I admonish that? No. Would I recommend it? No. Because once you get all the money you've got, who do you share that with? You're just going to be lonely, rich and lonely. No one to share that with, not trusting anybody that comes around you because maybe they just want your money. Maybe they don't want to spend time with you because they like you. They want access to your dough. So now you become, weird and bitter and you don't trust anybody and you're neurotic and huge amounts of anxiety. Find the boundaries. Be honest with yourself about what the priority is. And then 100% extreme ownership of that. And if you want more time, block it out. Take the time that you need for you first. And the rest of it goes to clients. The rest of it goes to the employer. I need to take another break. I need to take another break. We're going to talk in the next segment about some tips to help set those boundaries. Some things that you can do, just quick, easy things. You're going to want to write this down. So if you don't have your journal or something to write with or write on, you're going to want that. So run and get that while we're taking a break. But before you go, again, I want to do another quick shout out for Jose Escobar. Is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf, and I can't do this without my sponsors. If you want me to be able to highlight your business on our broadcasts, on our shows, on my Long Bearded Guy shows, reach out to me. We'll see if there's a good fit. Maybe there's a good fit to be able to broadcast and highlight your business, where we can, just the same way we do with Jose. I'm so thankful for my founding sponsor partners. Jose Escobar, check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about the morning and evening routine mastery program that is changing people's lives. This program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session today with Jose Escobar at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. That's an incredible program. And again, to his point, if you don't have a morning and evening routine, you're not maximizing your day. You're fooling yourself. You want to understand how your boundaries work. You want to understand how you can take the time, make sure you make the time for your family as well as for your work and as well as yourself, and not yourself last, yourself first. You need to talk to Jose. You need to learn that morning and evening mastery program. Why? Because it'll help you expand. We waste so much time. Oh God, I don't have any time. As soon as I get clients, I ask them to not justify, but be accountable for every second of every day for 2 weeks. I want to know everything you do. If you're in the bathroom for 3 minutes, I don't want to know what you're doing in the bathroom for 3 minutes, but I want to know you're in the bathroom for 3 minutes. Because what I'm at the end of those 2 weeks, and it's a pain in the bum, I know, but you want to know what's going on in your life? You want to know where your time goes? Write it all down. Excuse me, write it all down. Keep track of what you do. Account for every second of every day for yourself. you'll realize very quickly how much time we waste, how much time we're not being productive. I challenge you to do that. And then come back and go, okay, so Gord, I found all this extra time, but now I need to be able to set boundaries. Now I need to learn how to block my time. I need to take a quick break. Don't forget to pause and breathe. I have my special mug with my herbal tea that's helping my head, trying to help me feel better today. If you've got your stuff, make sure you've got it. And like I say, going into this next segment, you're going to want something to write with and write on. So pause and breathe as we go to the break. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
The Connected Leaders Academy is the #1 fastest growing networking community for entrepreneurs. CLA assembles high-level leaders, titans of industry, and business owners under one roof. If you're an entrepreneur looking to grow personally, professionally, scale your influence, develop skills, and expand your network exponentially, the CLA is where you need to be. Want on to more podcasts and shows, speak on more stages, sell more books, products, and services, get more leads, referrals, acquire new clients, develop lifelong friendships, and more. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. Contact Jose Escobar on Facebook or check out www.claglobalsummit.com for more information.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. And we're talking today about, can someone tell me? That's a hard thing when you're sitting in a studio by yourself. Betraying trust when personal relationships and job commitments collide. Why is that important? Because I think we're getting into a space where they're, especially working from home, right? We're colliding with that. We're not separating our home and our work life. We're spending more time in one space than the other, and we're betraying the relationships at home with our work. Our mistress is our job, and it's causing some challenges for everybody. And so I want to, in this quick segment, I want to give you some quick tips for setting boundaries between work and home. How do we set some boundaries? Part of it is just leaving the stuff at work and leaving the stuff at home. Would it bleed across? Yes. Are you going to think about it a little bit? Yes. But by and large, for the most part, when you're at work, focus at work. How much time do we spend at the coffee clutch? How much time do we spend, surfing social media? How much time do we spend talking to our colleagues instead of getting stuff done? If we would really, really, really focus and have fun, but really focus at work, we would be way more effective. If we do the same thing at home, we leave our work at work. When we're with our family, we're on date night or with the kids or whatever, we're not thinking about, we're going to be there physically, right? We're physically with our wife, or we're physically with our significant other, the kids at home. But in our brain, we're going, oh, I've got this other thing I got to do. You know what? With that project, I could do this and this and this. And, I need that, John Davis guy. I got to get him over. In my mind, I'm thinking about work stuff instead of, and they can tell. You may think you're fooling them, but you're not. They can sense that vibration energy is going out. So I want to give you some real quick tips to set boundaries between work and home. One of them is to just let go of the work-life balance myth. Just let go. There's no such thing. So stop trying to get to it. Just let it go. reframe it. Reframe it, or have a frozen moment. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Just let it go. Just stop trying to chase it. It's not there. So that's the first one. Define working hours. What does that mean? Especially if you work from home. Again, it bleeds out, right? If we're working from our home office, we spend some time, we spend an hour, we spend half an hour, we spend 2 hours, whatever, doing work, and then we get up and we make ourselves a sandwich and make ourselves a tea, and then we put in a load of laundry, and we pick up the kids' room a little bit. We go and we eat our food and drink our tea or our coffee, and then we come back to work again. It's part of the fun of being able to be at home. That's great, but you know what? That's distracting. Define what your working hours are. I'm going to work from whatever it is, right? And if you work from home, great. If you work in a brick and mortar and you can control it, if you can't control it because you're an employee, that's great. Then you have defined hours, right? I have to be there from 8 to 4, from 9 to 5, or whatever it is. You've got defined hours. If you work for yourself, do exactly the same thing. Set it out, block it out. All right, from 9 to 11:30, I'm going to be doing XYZ. And then from 11:30 till 12:30, I'm going to have lunch. And change the space. So define your working hours. Define when you're going to be working, and then stick to that. Work those hours. Don't just talk about it. Actually execute it. Do it. Stick to it. The same as if you're going into a brick and mortar. Create a separate workspace. If you happen to work from home, don't work in the same space you're living in. That would, and it sounds weird, but when we change our geography, same as when we change our physiology, we can change our attitude, we can change our mindset. If we change our physiology, what we're doing with our body. In the same way, if we change our geographic location, and even just in the same space, I can go from my studio in our house here is in the basement. Or I have to go up a level to get to the kitchen and the living room, and then I got another level to get to the bedrooms and the laundry and whatnot. That I completely separate it out. Why? Because I want it to be different. I want a switch to flip when I come in that goes, you know what, this is now work. And when I leave my studio, it's now not work anymore. Create different spaces. Take regular breaks, but build them in as part of the blocks. I'm going to work from 9 till 9:30 or 9:45 at XYZ. I'm going to do this one project. And then I'm going to take 5 minutes and do a biological break and grab myself a banana. And then I'm coming back at, 9:45. So at 9:50 till 10:30, I'm going to block it out, but build in regular breaks so that you can change your mindset. If you got a project that's going to take hours and hours or days and days and days or years even, break it into small chunks. Don't spend hour after hour after hour after hour after. You're not as effective when you do that. You need to break it up. That doesn't mean you can't do it, but you have to break it up. Find something else to do for a few hours and I got hiccups, and then come back to it. Work at it and then come back to it. Work at it and then come back to it. So create separate workspaces, take regular breaks, prioritize self-care. You hear me talk about it all the time. You got to do self-care, but start your day with it. Don't try and fit it in. Start your day looking after you. Again, not instead of, but so that you can. Write it down. Self-care, not instead of, but so you can. That way you show up the way you intend to show up for the people in your life that you know you want to, you need to. You're going to show up the way that you want to and are needed because you've looked after yourself. That's what happened to me. I couldn't show up when I slid sideways and I was bedridden for 2 years. I was no good to all the people that I was doing all that hard work for. And it's selfish not to look after yourself first, by the way. I want to throw that out there. It's selfish not to look after yourself first, because what you're doing is jeopardizing those relationships you say you treasure and want so badly. You want to be here for as long as you can be. Communicate your boundaries. Capital letters. Communicate your boundaries. Nobody, if they don't know you have stuff going on, or they don't know home is a priority, or You haven't told your wife and your kids, or your significant other and your kids, or if they don't know they're not mind readers. They're not going to know. You communicate what those boundaries are. Communicate what your thought process is. Make sure they understand this is the priority. And if it's a priority to work really, really, really hard for a little bit, for just a little bit, that's fine. Short-term pain, long-term gain, I get it. But communicate that to the people around you so they understand what the boundaries are, so they understand what's going on. It's not that you don't want to be there. You're trying to get something started. You're putting a specific little bit in pieces. My friend, my brother's back and forth to the hospital, but he still has to look after his kids. Seeing his wife and looking after him, being at her side is a priority. So he's trying to make sure that he communicates with them what's going on. Why is dad spending the time? And they understand. You're with mom. We get it. But he's explaining to them, and he still shows up to make sure he gets them to cello practice and hockey and all the things that they've got going on. Or he arranges for somebody to be there for them. Communicate your boundaries. Be 100% authentically you. Stop trying to be somebody else. Nobody else can be you. And we hear talk about that all the time. We talk about it all the time. We just sort of skim past it. No, stop that. Nobody else can be you. Let that sink in. Nobody can be you. Why are you trying to be somebody else? Your family needs you. Your work needs you. Your clients need you. Because nobody else can do that. It's a very rare commodity. You are a very rare commodity. Very rare. There's only one. Tell me what that does to your worth and your value. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Understand what you're strong at, what your genius is, what your superpowers are. Understand what those are, but also understand and acknowledge and embrace what your weaknesses are. Hey, you know what? I do this things really well, but you know what? I'm not so good at this stuff. And that's okay. Nobody's 100% on everything. Nobody is. But know what those are so that you can work around them. Be connected, but set limits. So social media, be connected, that's fine, but set limits. Don't get down that rabbit hole. And we've all done it where we get on TikTok or we get on Instagram. We one after the other, mind-numbingly just right. And the next thing you know, it's been an hour. Connect, but set limits for yourself. Guard your downtime. You need that recharge time. That is the most productive thing you can do. Napoleon Hill said we need to be doing the most productive thing that we can be in any given moment. Recharge time is important. We need to do that so that we can show up the way we need to. Our bodies need that recharge. So guard your downtime. Don't just give it away. And don't kill it. My kids are, I'm just killing time. Don't do that. You're never getting it back. It's non-renewable. It's gone. Once it's spent, it's gone. Reframe how you look at work life and personal life to allow less stress about it. Because lots of times we stress about it. Well, whoa, crap, I need balance. I need balance. Stop stressing about it. Reframe it so that you don't have to look at it that way. Reframe it so that you're maximizing your time and you're spending the time where the priority is. Again, if your priority is with your family, spend more time there. Spend as much time as you can. And make it quality time. If you can't spend volumes of time, make it quality time. Block everything else out so that you're literally, you walk by these tables of people in a restaurant and all of them, the kids, the adults, everybody is on their phone. They're not talking, they're all on their phone. It's so sad. I'm like, what are you doing? Social media is connecting us globally and separating us locally. It's blowing apart families. I can talk to South Africa and just like that. But unless I'm intentional about it, I can't talk to my kids. Reframe things, have boundaries, understand how it works. I want to do a quick shout out for myself. If this stuff is resonating, I'm doing a box inside out for women right now. That's only 6 weeks. I do have 2 spots for that. If that's of interest to you, reach out to me quick, because I'm doing a recap for somebody this afternoon. Supposed to be doing one at 5 o'clock to recap what we did at the first session this past Monday. But if you want into that, let me know. But I do men's box inside out. I one-on-one speaking. You want me to talk to your group? You can hire me to talk to your church group or your men's group or your kids group or wherever it is, to your company. Mindset is such a huge thing. If you don't know, that's how Napoleon Hill, that's how he financed his life, by teaching those principles in companies. And if you happen to have a sales component to your operation, insurance and real estate and it doesn't matter, car sales, whatever it is, if there's a sales piece of it, by teaching some mindset and teaching some ways to think, we can increase, the average is 30% increase in sales for no other reason. Nothing shifts except their brain. Nothing shifts except getting ownership and control of their own mind. So if that's of interest to you, reach out. If you want me to highlight your business, reach out. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com is the easiest way to get a hold of me. And you know what? Please help me get to expand and engage with as many men as we can. I can't do this on my own. I need a community and a tribe and a group of people that are all heart-centric and wanting to push this kind of a concept forward, that want to help other people, that want to help men, that want to slow down or stop or prevent the suicide rate, to give them the tools they need to help with the depression, help with the stress and anxiety and all the emotions we feel every day and don't know what to do with. If that resonates with you, or you know somebody that will resonate, please connect me to them. I got to take a quick break. When we come back, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to do just a quick wrap, and then we're going to do a call to action. So stick around. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, at Inspired Choices Network. Don't forget to pause and breathe.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at Jewel International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D. Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D. Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate you being here. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D. Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. And today we've been talking about betraying trust when personal relationships and job commitments collide. And we've talked about setting boundaries. We've talked about being honest with ourselves about what the priorities are, and then living up to that, not belly aching and whining and bitching because we're not where we want it to be. because relationships aren't what we want them to be. Own it. Own it. Extreme ownership. And then we gave you some tips for setting those boundaries and understanding how that works. We gave you some of those. We've talked about a bunch of different things. I enjoy talking about these things. I'm hoping and praying that there's engagement in the sense that it's helpful to you. If it's helpful, reach out, tell me. Reach out and let me know, hey, Gord, you know what? This is helpful. I really appreciated this and this and this. Reach out if you don't, Gord, this is crap. I didn't like it. Or you know what? I didn't like you holding me to account. Or I think you did that. I don't like the way you did. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. I want the engagement. Number one, first and foremost, I want the engagement. So, call to action for this week is this. I'm going to challenge you. Today's Friday is usually the end of people's week. And don't make it a W-E-A-K, weekend. Make it a power end. Make it, don't take your foot off the gas. You work hard, play hard. But sometime over the weekend, block out next week for you first. Block out the times you need for the things that you want, that are priorities for what you want, for your self-care, for time with your family, for date night, for time with your significant other. To block those things out first. And then the job, then clients. The other thing is, where can you find validation within you for your home life? Where can you find validation? If you're looking outside yourself to get validation, that's a fool's errand. You're never going to get that. And you know what? If you do, you're always jonesing for that something outside of you. You don't need anybody else to validate you. You don't need anybody else to do that. You do that. So this week, block your week, block next week out for yourself, prioritizing you, and then dig into yourself, do some introspection. Where do you find validation within yourself so that you can spend time at home, so that you get the most out of, maximize the time with your family? It's important. Those are the relationships that matter. Not that the people at work don't matter. I don't mean that. But again, nobody lays in their deathbed and goes, I should have spent some more time at work. I want to spend more time at home. I should have spent more time with my kids or my wife or whatever. We need to do that. If that's a priority, block it out. Find that validation. And join me next week, Friday, November 3rd. November already. We're almost at the end of the year already. We're going to talk about demystifying hindrances to your goals. Demystifying hindrances to your goals. It's a fancy way to say, what the hell's stopping you from getting where you want to go? What the hell is stopping you from having what you want? Tune in next week. Bring your friends, bring your journal. We're going to talk about that next week. Demystifying hindrances to your goals. What's stopping you? You might be shocked what the answer is. And that's going to be another accountability deal. But show up. Spend some time with me. I appreciate people being here today. I appreciate the time you're spending with me. Please say a quick prayer for my brother and it's my friend and his wife and his family. And you know what? This week, be courageous. Be unapologetically you. Make it another great week. Don't just let it happen. Make it. I love you. Massive hugs. Live out you abundantly and with intention. Don't just let it happen. We'll see you next week. Again, don't forget, if you haven't heard today, I love you. Big hugs. You matter. We see you and we hear you. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D. Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, power, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs!